10 years ago, I'm standing in my kitchen, 11 p.m., staring at a bag of chips and having a full-blown debate with myself. One voice said, "You should not eat those chips. What if you gain weight?" Another voice, softer, pleads, "But I had a very stressful day. I just want to feel better." The first voice struck back, "No, this is not healthy." There I was, frozen in my own kitchen, in a deadlock with a bag of chips. And guess what? The chips were winning. So I gave up. I ate those chips, not with joy, but with defeat. At first, I feel like guilt. But slowly, it turned into something heavier, shame. You see, guilt and shame feel so similar, but they're words apart. Guilt is about what we do. Shame is about who we are. Guilt says, "You should not eat those chips." Shame says, "You're unworthy and unlovable because you have no discipline." Every food choices feel like a confession. We track calories, label food good or bad, we punish ourselves with restriction. But very soon, cravings break through. We binge, feel guilty and ashamed, and promise to start fresh tomorrow. But when tomorrow comes, the cycle repeats. My plate used to be a collection of food that I loved. But slowly, it became a report card on my character. Broccoli, straight A student. Chocolate cake, F minus. What I ate said something about who I was. And we call this discipline. But let me be clear, this isn't discipline. This is emotional imprisonment. I think back to my early 20s, to moments when my family members said, "You have gained little weight, huh?" They said so casually, just feel like they're commenting on my haircut. I would smile while silently shrinking. Those comments always dressed up as love or concern, but slowly it changed how I saw myself. That was the moment I realized something important. The weight I was carrying was not just weight on my body. It was a weight of expectation, a weight of comparison, a weight of living in a world that constantly told me that I was not enough. Fast forward to today, I'm a registered dietitian. I build a meal plan with clients every day. They call me thinking about we're going to talk about broccoli and a salad. On the surface, it looked like a nutrition work. But beneath that, I began to notice something else in my clients. Something deeper than food log and calorie tracking. Because the truth is, we do not just eat for energy. We eat to cope with stress, to comfort sadness that we don't have words for, to soothe loneliness. And I hear this all the time. I want to lose weight, but I feel out of control when I snack and eat. That cookie was a reward for a hard day, but I feel so guilty for eating it. I eat by myself because I don't want to be judged by my family and friends. I avoid stepping on the scale because I don't want to know my weight. I hide candy wrappers just like national secrets. And what do? We try harder, add more rules, more structure, more control. But the tighter the rules, the louder the shame gets when those rules break. And the real work for a dietitian? It's about helping clients to unlearn the shame, reclaiming the joy of eating, listening to our hungers instead of fighting it, and healing your relationship with food. with compassion. So a couple of years ago, I went back to university to study the emotional forces driving our relationship with food, which led me to study a master in counseling psychology. Here is where I learned something critical. Shame and control cannot motivate us forward. It cannot create sustainable change. It only traps us in a circle of restriction and defeat. And the way out? It starts from a simple but radical shift in perspective. Instead of asking, "What's wrong with me?" we ask, "What do you need right now?" Let me show you a story that reflects a pattern I often see in my work. I will just call her Maya. Maya meal prep every Sunday. Healthy food choices, balanced meal, perfect portions. She feels proud, she will take a picture and post on social media. If you meal prep and did not post it, did it even happen? But when stress hit on Wednesday, a perfect system crumbled. She found herself hiding in her car, eating takeout, swallowed by guilt and shame. At first, I asked her, "Maya, what do you value the most?" She said, "Control. When life feels out of control, I stress eat. I feel like a failure." But as we peeled back the layers, a deeper truth emerged. She actually values connection, time with her kids, and being present. So I asked her gently, "Maya, how does your Sunday meal prep support that?" Doesn't, she admitted. When I follow the meal plan perfectly, I feel loved, accepted, and valuable. When I don't, I feel rejected. That was a profound moment that everything changed. We stopped discussing what she should eat, a desperate attempt to earn belongings through perfection. Instead, we started talking about what would actually serve her life. Maybe simpler meals that she could cook with her kids. Maybe ordering takeout sometimes without feeling guilty and ashamed, using that extra time to connect with her family. At the end, she was so much happier. Not because she became more disciplined, not because she became perfect, but because she finally felt connected to herself. And I call this value-based eating. Value-based eating is not about calorie or restriction. It's about alignment, aligning the way you eat with what you value. Health, connection, self-respect, joy. Emotional eating feels like a prison, automatic, compulsive, shame-filled. Value-based eating feels like a freedom, conscious, compassionate, a choice, not a battle. When you make this shift, something important happens. Food becomes information, not judgment. Feedback, not failure. Nourishment instead of punishment. And most importantly, you start to trust yourself again. And that goes for me too. That 11 p.m. scene, it still happens to me sometimes. But when those two voices start arguing, a third voice joins in. Compassionate and kind. It asks, "What do you need right now?" Sometimes it's a glass of water and early bedtime. Sometimes it's calling a friend. Sometimes it's a bag of chips. Whatever that choice is, food finally returns to what it was always meant to be. Connection, nourishment, and enjoyment. So if there's one thing I hope you can take with today, it's this. Value-based eating does not begin with cutting out food. It begins with cutting out judgment. It also starts with having a authentic relationship with yourself, others, and the food. It's also found in the way you eat, align with your value, honor your culture, and fits the real life. I wish someone had told me this earlier. You were never the problem, and the shame was. Thank you.